Good evening, everybody. Now, the title of the talk this afternoon is A Seismic Shift in Leadership. Leadership has changed, as Mahendra has said. It's now very different. The world we live in is different. Our peers are different. Teman-teman kerjasama, people our colleagues are all different. And they come with different from generations. You got Generation Z, Generation X, Gen Zs. You get all sorts of different people working in the same organization. And it seems that leadership as well must change. So what are we going to look at today? We got a lot to cover. Ya, banyak sekali materinya. And don't worry, I will later send you the PDF version of this PowerPoint, and you can then think about it. So what we can do only in the next 40 minutes is very, very quick. Cepat sekali dan tipis sekali, because this is a very deep area of research. What are we going to look at? We're going to look at number one, something called servant leadership. And a lot of people know what it is. A lot of people know what it is, but we don't know how to put it into practice. So first thing we're going to do is look at servant leadership. Next thing we're going to do is looking at actions that we can take as leaders. Sebagai leader in a servant leadership context, what are the things we need to do? Apa yang kita harus buat dalam our day-to-day operations? And this talk will have one slide, which will very clearly show you what you need to do if you want to be a leader to this group of people. By ourselves, we now look inwards. Kita sudah look outward. Our action ke orang, we look at inwards. And this part of the talk will be about self-development. What are the things you need to do, reflecting by yourself, and skills that you want to develop to be able to become a more effective leader? Now, because we don't have a lot of time, of course, we will do a question and answer, yeah, Pahendra, at the end, and you can then put whatever questions you like. Now, let me say right from the beginning, I do not agree with everything that is being said about servant leadership. I am 63 years old, 63 tahun. Jadi, I am more used to traditional hierarchies, and I see a lot of benefit in that. But I also realize that through the years, leadership has changed. And the way I want to lead my team has changed, because the people who make up my team are not the same anymore. Let's start about and take a quick look at traditional leadership models. Now, in a traditional leadership model, this is what we call old school. Yeah, people my age, yeah, banyak ibu-ibu, bapa-bapa di sini. We are from the older generation. We are used to top-down control. Jelas, you have a leader, then you have a manager, and then you have a lot of employees. And the employees, like in this graph here that I've shown you, were all taught and be controlled by one leader. And then after that, the manager reports to the leader. Okay. Now, in these traditional models, we know that for the leaders, it demands obedience. Harus ikut perintah. It depends on the manager. The leader depends on the manager to execute what the leader has decided. It also prioritizes power over progress. So a lot of the internal dynamics, the dynamics between the owner or the leader to his manager, is all about power. I will tell you how to do it. That's my job. I'm your leader. I will show you. I will tell you. Your job is to listen and to follow. And of course, by the nature of these structures, the company or the organization values profit over people. It's more about how much money you can make. If you don't follow the rules, if the manager doesn't follow what the leader says, the company will lose money. And that's not what we want to do. All right. So this is old school leadership, and we're all used to it. We know what it's like. Now, in a different model that has become more increasingly popular, we are now looking at what is called servant leadership. And in this blue pictogram that I've put on the slide, you can see that servant leadership is about bottom-up support. Let's compare the two. Just now we talked about top-down control. Now, in servant leadership, we're talking about bottom-up support. And in this bottom-up support model, the main key characteristics are the building of trust between the employees and between the team members. It's all about building trust. It's all about individual growth and well-being of each individual in the company. So you're not looking anymore at, I say, you do. I'm the leader, you follow. Now it's about, let's trust each other, make sure that you grow and I grow, and there is a clear emphasis on driving performance through empowerment. Now, what does this mean? Sounds like a lot of English words. Drive performance through empowerment. Basically, it means my job is to make your job easier. As the leader, I will empower you. I will build your capacity. I will let you have the power, the training, the time, the effort, the space to be able to do your job more effectively. Now, this is a seismic change, very total change, because immediately the dynamics between the team members, between leaders, CEOs, owners, their managers, and then after that, their employees, has totally changed. The language that they are talking to each other is changed. It's no more, saya bilang kamu ikut perintah saya. Sekarang, the conversation is, gimana saya bisa bantu kamu supaya kamu bisa melaksanakan pekerjaan kamu dengan lebih baik. It's a totally different dynamics between the leader and his employees or his team members nowadays. Before I go to the next slide, let me say that servant leadership is very popular, I think, in churches, di gereja-gereja. A lot of times, if you hear the word servant leadership, it's actually used in the context of gereja. And many, many gerejas have adopted this idea of the leader being there to serve the rest of the people. Let me say that in this talk, it's not about that. It's not about being servant to the community. This is about helping your employees do their job more effectively. It's about helping your employees or your team members do their job more effectively. So let's take another step forward. Now we kind of have an idea of what servant leadership is. Let me pose two questions. Why is there a need to change? Why can't we just continue with our old way? I mean, I'm an old man now. I could be a CEO. I can sit down there. Sabi say suru. I don't have to worry. No one's going to question me. I make all the decisions. Has the workforce changed so much? And I think the answer is yes. You yourself know that the workforce itself has changed so much because the people entering your teams now, they are better educated, they're exposed through the internet to things like their rights, they're exposed to ideas like well-being. Saya harus happy loh in my office. It's not enough that I produce. I have to be happy. I want flexibility in my time. So they want many different things that people of my generation or our generation, if you're around, if you're more than 55 years old, yeah, our generation are used to. Sekarang, I think the Indonesian word is lancang. Is that right, sir? Yeah, very lancang. They're very, very brave. Sir, can I have this? Sir, can I have that? Sir, can we do it differently? Sir, can I suggest? They are very, very vocal, this workforce, and they want a lot of flexibility. Now let's look at why you need to change. Very clearly, we need to change because the workforce has changed, and every study shows that when you adopt, kalau kita use servant leadership, this is what you will get in the office. You get higher engagement. People are more interested in their job. Faster problem solving. When there is a problem, they don't wait for instruction. Tidak menunggu instruksinya. Mereka automatically will solve problems themselves because it's in their nature to do it. And you will also get lower turnover. People are happy where they are. Last time, biasanya dikasih extra 300,000 per month. Mereka bye-bye, resign, and go to the next factory. Now, no more. The workers actually ask themselves, gimana ya? Am I happy working in this company? Am I happy working in this school? So creating a good, positive, well-being atmosphere, a non-toxic, the opposite is a toxic atmosphere or environment. Having a non-toxic environment actually retains your workers. You don't have such a high turnover. You also have a stronger culture. People start to identify, mereka identify with the company. They're very proud to work for this company because they feel, this company takes care of me. And you also get more sustainable performance, meaning that people, because there's higher engagement, because there's faster problem solving, because there is stronger culture, the high level performance of the team is sustainable. Bukan cuma satu project bagus and then after that it goes down and down and down. So it's very sustainable. And because of all of this, ladies and gentlemen, we need to really think about what is it about servant leadership that we can develop for ourselves as leaders. As a leader, what are the things I need to do? And this is what you need to do. If you think that servant leadership is the direction to go, then what are the specific skills do you want to now look at? What are the things you need to develop, either in yourself or in the leaders below you? If you're very high, then di bawah kita juga ada leader lain. Dan di bawah dia ada juga leader lain. So what are the skills you need to develop? Now, this slide has a lot of different skills, right? Lots and lots of different skills. And what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to let you look at this slide and give you a short explanation of each of these things, just so that we can clarify them. Now, as I said, I will give you the PDF version of this PowerPoint. And as I'm explaining these 8 skills, what I would like you to do is to make mental notes. What are the things you feel you're doing well, yang sudah bagus? Apa yang kita mau membangun? What do you think are things that you need to develop? And what are the things that are really not you, critically not you? Yeah. Let me give you an example. Kalau saya, I find that active listening is very difficult. Saya kurang sabar. I don't want to hear long stories. I like people to be short, to the point, and tell me what they want to say. So I get very irritated when somebody comes and wants to talk to me, a lot of basa-basi. I find it very difficult to accept. So as I'm going through these 8, take notes if you like. Think about which are the skills you feel you lack and you want to develop. Okay, so this is a key takeaway for this slide. The first skill you need to have in servant leadership is empathy. We know what's empathy. You want to connect deeply, understand what are your subordinates' challenges, not just their roles. Bukan cuma what he does, but you want to understand deeply what are the problems he faces. And of course, the only way to do that is to ask them. You ask, how's work? What are the specific problems? How can I understand how you feel, what difficulties you have. Tell me how I can make it better. So that's the first, empathy. If you feel that you have very difficult for you to be empathetic here, or susah, put it as one of the skills you want to develop. Then you want listening skills. And in listening skills, it's not just listening. Bukan duduk di sana dan bengong. You want to listen with intention. A lot of people call it active listening, but you want to listen with intention. You want to sit there and you want to let the person know that you are actually listening and responding appropriately to what they are saying. And you want to respond with care. You want to show them that you care about what they're saying and be clear. Now, that is listening. The next skill is awareness, recognizing emotions, strengths, and challenges in yourself, not just the other, not just your employees or the people who you work over, but also yourself. The awareness of emotions. And many times we tend to lose sight of our own emotions as well. The fourth skill on this slide is persuasion. How do you influence through trust and logic and not by authority or force? How do you get your team to follow you because they trust you and because you make sense? Karena kamu masuk akal dan mereka percaya kepada kamu. Bukan kerana kamu bosnya. Of course, in front of you, they will follow whatever. As soon as you turn your back, they don't care. They won't do it anymore because you're just there as the authority. You're forcing me to do it. Yes, I ikut, but in this new environment iklim baru, this lingkungan baru, you really need to persuade them through trust and through logic. Harus masuk akal dan harus dipercaya, right? Now, of all the 4 on the top, empathy, listening, awareness, persuasion, I will tell you that listening is my weakest skill. I'm learning every day, okay? How to listen to people. My strongest skill is persuasion and empathy. I'm very good persuader. I know how to influence using trust and logic. So over to you, ibu-ibu dan bapak-bapak. Take a moment, kita refleksi sendiri. Dari 4 ini di atas. Which are the skills? Yang mana do you want to develop? So that's the first task. Now just be quiet, just for 15 seconds. Look at the slide, look just at the first 4. Yang 4 itu, dan pikirkan, refleksi. Yang mana you really want to improve. Right, ladies and gentlemen, let's continue. The other 4 skills that you want. The first or the 5th is called foresight. Ada cermin ajaib di mana kita bisa lihat masa depan. You anticipate challenges and opportunities to guide the future decisions. So, a good servant leader will say, nanti ya, kalau kita begini ya, nanti akan begitu. Ini akan ada akibatnya. Ini kalau kita bertindak begini, akibatnya akan begini. That's foresight. And that's a very useful skill to have. The next skill is stewardship. Stewardship is basically leading with integrity. Saya benar-benar pemimpin dan saya akan bawa tim saya ke sini, bawa tim saya ke sana. And that's called stewardship. They feel that you are the leader who is taking everybody to a destination. Then you have growth. The habit of always looking at making people better, growing their skills, building their confidence, capacity building, unlocking potential. Saya merasa that this particular generation of 25 to 35 years old, ini yang they are looking for it. They are looking for companies that will say, I will help you grow. So if growth is not on your vocabulary, kita tidak pakai growth di dalam daily talking with them and how they are going to benefit, how they are going to get better at their job, how you're going to send them for training, how they're going to learn new things, new opportunities. You will disengage your younger workers because they really need growth. And then lastly, the bottom, yang bawah kanan, would be community. That they feel they are part of the team, they're part of the school, they're part of your company, they're part of your hotel. Encourage collaboration, bekerja sama, the trust and a shared purpose. One of your jobs, satu daripada tugas as a leader, pemimpin, is to have a shared purpose and communicate that purpose with your team. Kita begini kerana kita mau, you have to expressly say, what is your shared purpose? So the bottom four, I'll give you a moment again, ya, kita refleksi juga. Apa skill that you personally, this is about you. What are the skills you feel you may be lacking, yang kurang dari kita, that we want to develop? For me, my strong skills, growth. Saya selalu always talking about capacity building, making them better, make the teachers better, make my employees more skilled, give them more empowerment. And that's conversation that I always have. So my lacking, yang saya kurang, foresight and community. I tend to overlook, saya tidak begitu, not that good at having foresight and community. I tend to make very quick decisions. So those are areas di mana I may want to improve. So over to you now, ladies and gentlemen. Pikirkan. Take a look at this table now sebelum kita to the next slide. Look at it and think about yourself. Sendiri. Where are you strong? Where do you want to develop? And I'll just be quiet for 30 seconds and give you a chance to look at the different aspects, the different skills you need if you want to be a great leader today in this climate, right? So let's go with the next slide. As I said, this slideshow will be presented to you in a PDF form, and silakan aja merenung. Renungan, sit down, lihat slide ini, dan pikirkan, what are the skills you want to develop to be a better leader in today's companies? A key element of servant leadership adalah trust and not control. Kalau dulu in the hierarchy, kita selalu bicara control. What are the control measures? Mana ada cross-checknya? Who will report to who? Siapa yang buat, who's the boss? Which decision is made by which department? So we're always thinking about control. Nowadays, we talk about trust. And I'm going to put another slide up now. And this slide will actually teach you how to build trust. If you want to build trust in your company, if you want your individual team members to believe you and to trust you, these are the 5 minimum things that you need to do. Whether or not you're going to do servant leadership or not, whether you're going to, even if you want to keep the old hierarchy structures of leadership, you still want to always build trust. And that's why I've included this slide. So let's go very quickly through this slide. Shift your mindset to serve rather than control. Itu susah ya, because people are very suspicious. When you start talking, orang, you start talking about, well, how can I help you? The average Indonesian worker is very like, why my boss talking like that? Kan dia yang menentukan semuanya. He pulls all the strings. Why does he suddenly talk about serving me? So this is a challenge for the leaders today. How do you actually start talking about serving rather than controlling? Number one is already a problem. Number two, you've got to listen actively. They've got to feel valued. When somebody talks, when your employee or your team member is telling you something, even if you're very busy, you need to give them time for them to feel that their opinion is valued. Do I agree with this 100% of the time? Obviously not. Okay? Saya very, very jujur, yeah. I don't believe that everybody's opinion is equal. Yeah, some people's opinion is just a waste of time from past experience, oh God, this guy's gonna talk nonsense. Tapi to engage him, you must give him at least the opportunity. Kasih kesempatan aja. Listening to that. This takes a lot of time. I find it very difficult to find the time to sit down and listen to employees talk for more than 5 minutes. I will listen to them. But, after 5 minutes, I'm like, get to the point. Yeah, jadi apa gimana? And that's why I know, saya tahu, that's my failure. Okay, one of my failures is being very impatient with long conversations. I like short to the point conversations in the context of work. When it comes to work, don't waste time. That's me, okay? So think about number two. So this talk is not that, servant leadership is so good. I want to identify the real problems that you will have as well, right? If you want to have this kind of leadership. Number three is empowering by trusting their abilities. Tell your team what you want, then take a step back, let them plan, let them execute. Be the guide, not the yang angkat, go right, follow me, this is what I want. I don't care. And then check every single thing. The normal Gen Z, Gen X, Gen Y, all these people, they don't like leaders standing behind them, di belakang mereka, looking at everything they do. They don't like it. And this is translated. When you want to trust, you got to say, saya percaya. Silakan aja, ini budgetnya, ini boundary-nya, ya, parametersnya begini. Silakan melaksanakan, saya mau lihat outcome-nya begini. Good luck, you have a problem, call me and leave it. Now, this is also difficult to do because You don't know whether they will achieve their objective. As a leader, you might be making a mistake. You think the person can do it. You think, or even the person thinks he can do it, but they can't kerana belum ada kapasitasnya untuk melakukan atau melaksanakan tugasnya. And that is a big problem. So the next problem, easy to say on a slide, yeah, well, empower your team. But the reality is you're always questioning yourself. Apakah benar-benar saya bisa lepas tangan? How much should I lepas tangan? And how much should I keep control? And this dilemma is one of the things that we have to deal with every day in the office. Apakah kita totally let go, or do we keep tight control over the process? So number 3, giving them and empowering them to do certain things. Number 4 is very easy to say, susah untuk melaksanakan. Lead by example. Ya, kita selalu, kamu jangan ini, jangan gitu, tapi kita yang melanggar undang-undang atau peraturan sendiri in the office. That's very common. We need to lead by example because this generation of workers look at you and they also calculate. Alah, dia aja begitu, ngoceh terus, but he does exactly the same thing he's telling us not to do. Kenapa harus kita ikut? And that then sets up the lack of trust. So when you talk, they say, ya, biar dia ngoceh aja. Because they don't trust you. You walk the talk. Kalau bahasa Inggris, we say, walk the talk. Now, the 5th thing is also a nice slogan. I've seen this as a slogan doang. Focus on people first and results will follow. I think that's very simplistic, yeah. Simplistic banget. Results don't always follow. But I agree, saya setuju, focus on people first. Because when you value the individual, you will find that they will do better, they will perform longer, and they are very teliti because they don't want to let you down as the leader. Mereka itu ada pride also. Oh, Pak Hari is so nice to me. I have to make sure this is done properly. Kalau tidak, Pak Hari akan malu. Saya juga akan malu. So I want this to be done very well. So on this slide, before we move on, because I see it's 7:45 already. On this slide, there are a lot of nice words. When you get the PDF, go back to this slide and look at it and reflect more deeply, more deeply on the problems. These are nice slogans, not necessarily easy to enforce or to implement. Okay? So, but you want to build trust, not control. That's the overriding principle or the overriding takeaway from this particular slide. Because at the end of the day, you decide how to arrange your boardroom. This is your company, or this is your business, this is your organization, this is your club, this is your school, this is your family. At the end of the day, you've got to decide what kind of leader you want to be. Am I an old type leader, old school leader? Yes, I am. I earned the right from my experience and my training and my education. People say, well, you think you're smarter than me. And I always say, yeah, I am actually smarter than you. You know, you just graduated from university. You don't know nothing. I know a lot more than you. So then when I say this will work, I mean this will work because I've seen it work before I have the experience. So in many ways, I'm a very old school leader. But in many ways, I'm also a very servant leader because I love growth. I take care of my teammates and I make sure that they get better and better each day. And because of that, they react to this. And I get a very good team producing very, very good results. So at the end of the day, you've got to decide what kind of leader, how much you are going to accept this new world. It's a new world. It's a seismic shift. There's no more, I'm the leader, I say everybody follow. It's all very different today. And where you draw the line, yeah, and how you control or want to do it through trust is really, really up to you. With that, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and I will return control back to Pak Hendra. Pak Hendra?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Harry Elias, for your extraordinary effort for tonight. I always recognize you as a, what do we say in English, habis-habisan.
What is habis-habisan? I don't know.
Give everything you have to everything you do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sir Harry, there are two questions. Chat from
Okay.
Mr. Elos Theophilus Gandawijaya.
Yes, I'm trying to
And
look.
from Mr. Dudik.
All right.
Number one.
Okay, so E.T. was not
Hello,
asking a
Pak.
question. Thank you for coming this evening.
Sure. It is Mr. Dudik who is asking.
Okay, yeah. I think Mr. Dudik says when empathy conflicts with deadlines, at one point do you make a top-down call, one real case and the KPI that justified it. All right. So I believe that, okay, so let me answer your question first. I don't know. As I said, you at the end of the day will have to decide. When do you stop being empathetic and, oh yeah, I kasihan him, I realize he's got a problem. And when you have to actually perform up to a certain standard. That, as I understand, it's your question, right, Pak Dudik? Right? You want to kasihan, but at the same time, it's like, tapi kita ada deadline. Kita harus chase the deadline. Where you draw the line is up to you. But let me say a few things first. Number one, I think KPIs yang kita pakai sekarang is going to be modified very, very differently in the next 2 or 3 years. Already there's a lot of research from Columbia University, a lot of think tanks are already talking about a different kind of KPI. KPIs are something that started in the early 2000s, and then now it's become very normal to talk about key performance indexes. But it's going out of fashion, like seperti biasa lah. They become fashionable, trending. Nanti kalau sudah jadi basi, will go down again, and nobody talks about KPIs anymore. It's like ISO 9002. Yeah, came and then went, and then after that ISO 14,000, and then came and then went. So it's changing. So back to the point. KPIs, I think, are going to be different. People are going to start talking about timelines and deliverables because that's the language of the new generation. Tell me when you want it, Pak Dudik, and I will deliver it to you. Itu aja. Don't tell me what, you just tell me what you want. I will give you 3 directions to go. You just choose one. You need it by 9 o'clock tonight, right? Okay. Don't disturb me, ya, Pak. I'm busy for you. And then they go and do it. And this whole idea, by 8:59, the guy will say, Pak Rudy, it's in your inbox. Can you please give me your reply? So whether or not suddenly at 8 o'clock they say, oh sorry Pak, saya tabrak motor. Saya sakit. Kucing saya mau beranak. I have to take my cat to the vet. They come up with all kinds of funny excuses nowadays. Whether or not you're going to accept that goes back to what kind of leader you are. The dangers are that many of the new people take advantage. Mereka manfaat. So they see a nice guy like me. I'm actually a very nice guy in the office. I always believe people. So they say, oh saya ada keperluan ini, istri saya, ya oke pergi. Dan nanti, oh istri saya sakit lagi, tolong Pak, bisa nggak? No. Pak, besoknya ada ini, saya harus. Oke, go. Nanti I find out 3 hari dia tidak masuk ke kantor, dia ke interview ke PT lain. Aduh, but that's the way I am because I'm very kesian. The person is very important to me. So the danger that we might face, Pak Dudik, is really these employees who take advantage, manfaatkan people like you and me. Because I know Pak Dudik also. He's a very nice guy. I'm sure if I came to Pak Dudik and said, Pak, saya tak bisa hari ini, besok aja ya, saya benar-benar capek. Pak Dudik will say, ya Pak, nggak apa-apa, besok aja. Walaupun he needs it, Pak Dudik may need it now, but he find it keberatan to say, because of the kind of person Pak Dudik is, he's nice. And I'm taking advantage of it. Padahal I just want to go out and have a night out with my friends. That's why I cannot finish his work. So in that situation, where you draw the line is different for different people. KPIs are important, but even then, I'm sure everyone here have had delays because someone said kucing saya mau beranak, and you just accept it and you say, okay, I understand, someone's sick in your house, go ahead and do it, So we give up our KPIs very often, but we allow, because we value the person over the process. But KPIs, as I said, is going to be a thing of the past very, very soon. I hope I've responded to you, Pak Dudik. Although my jawaban is I don't know, because different people are going to. What do you think, Pak Dudik?
Saya rasa sama sih prediksinya kayak kayak apa yang sampaikan Pak Elias. Got it. Well done, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Pak Dudik.
Oke.
Pak Hendra?
Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, jawaban yang sangat menarik. Tapi kalau saya boleh menambahkan beberapa pertanyaan lagi, barangkali. Mr. Iti,
This is great session. I love it. Kudos, Pak Ari.
Thank you, Pak.
Pak Ari is my role model. I need to
Alah,
learn around
Pak.
from you, Pak.
Nolah. Jangan begitu, Pak. You are the role models, always so Pak Iti is so helpful. Kemana-mana every night you go from room to room, club to club, help, educate everybody. Seriously, Pak Iti, thank you very much. Pak Hendra, mari saya tanya Pak Hendra. Lihat ini, Pak. Coba Pak, Mr. Hendra. Which skill do you feel you would like to improve, Pak? If you have a choice, which skill do you feel saya agak kurang di sini atau semua bagus? I don't know. Pak Hendra, silakan. Saya yang tanya.
saya punya masalah dulu waktu
Hmm.
saya masih jadi dosen.
Hmm.
Ya, masalah saya adalah bahwa saya kebagian mahasiswa-mahasiswa yang dalam tanda kutip bermasalah secara
Oke.
akademik.
Hmm.
Ya, mahasiswa-mahasiswa yang bagus itu diperebut dosen lain
Hmm.
karena membimbingnya mudah. Tinggal ngomong 1-2 patah kalimat, dia jalan sendiri.
Ya.
Nah, saya kebagian mahasiswa-mahasiswa yang sudah kuliah 10 tahun, 11 tahun, 12 tahun. Dan sejujurnya saja, tanpa servant leadership,
Hmm. Hmm.
tanpa empowering the student, it will not work. Jadi
Hmm.
saya sependapat, dan dalam membangun team building ini, by the way, dari sekian banyak mahasiswa yang tadi kurang berprestasi itu hanya 4 yang gagal.
Hmm.
Hanya 4 orang, just 4 people who uh, who uh, meneruskan skripsi, selesai skripsi.
Oke.
Hanya mungkin sekitar 8-10 orang yang dapat nilai C.
Oke.
Sisanya itu B dan A. Semuanya datang dari mana? Saya mencoba untuk empowering mereka. Memang extra effort, tapi hasilnya menyenangkan.
Good.
Hasilnya menyenangkan. Ya, dan saya percaya bahwa servant leadership sebagai dosen, waktu itu saya mencoba menjadi pelayannya mereka, ya, bukan sebagai pengarah mereka, ya, pengarah mereka.
Hmm.
Pembimbing itu kan harusnya mengarahkan.
Yes.
Dan ya alhamdulillah hasilnya bagus. Jadi saya menjadi saksi dan bukti bahwa servant leadership ini it works.
Yeah, it works.
It
It
works.
does work, yeah.
Ya,
Yeah. Thank you very much, Pak Hendra. Anyone else would like to make a comment, perhaps, and share what they feel? Pak Susilo, good evening, Pak Susilo. Are you still
Good evening, Pak Harry.
so
Yeah,
good to
always very interesting.
always good to
Very,
see you and to hear your voice. I haven't heard your voice for a long time. Pak Susilo, looking at this slide, Pak, which do you think is a skill you feel you would like to improve? Which skill would you like to improve?
I think all.
No, I'm sure there are things, there
But
are many things that you
uh,
do well.
I just want to tell you that
Yes.
if people know that we are nice, kind, helpful, and the probability that they will misuse us is very, very, yeah, it's there.
Yes.
Sometimes I think the mentality, our cultural mentality is different. If we are very, very, we want to serve them, they think we are weak.
Yes.
So I sometimes, yeah, they borrow money or they see, and then they just excuse, I can't return it. And I think it has something to do with our mentality, Pak. There's, I think, like Singaporean government, they are very, very strict. Where you make a mistake, you get punishment and so on. But if we don't have this kind of attitude, they may misuse us. I think maybe it can work in Western culture where people have high understanding. But if we don't have this kind of understanding, they misuse us. Yeah, I got let's say a street vendor who always comes and feel pity, and he asked me, I'm very, very this, yeah, I need help, and then he doesn't want to make another effort. I think this the negative one. Yeah, I don't know. For Asian people, especially our culture, we need this kind of strict.
More hierarchy, more structured hierarchy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said in Singapore, there's no choice. If you do it, yeah, and then you do it wrongly, you get punishment. There's no choice. Well, I'm today not in the mood, and then, so there's no choice.
Yes.
Yeah, many excuses in our society. Yeah, many excuses, and they ask our pity. Yeah, and then so on. I don't know. This is what my impression is, that it can be a boomerang for us.
Yeah.
And they misuse us. They don't make any effort, and so on. I don't know whether
Yeah.
it is correct or not.
Well, on one hand, there will be people who will say kindness, they take your kindness as a weakness. Yep. Karena kita baik, oh, dimanfaat. Oh, how nice. On the other hand, when you are too strict, then you have that situation where they perceive it as a toxic, very negative environment, and they don't want to stay. So it only goes back to my point, and thank you very much for those insightful comments, Pak Susilo. It really goes back ultimately to the kind of boardroom or the kind of organization you want to build. And it depends so much on the culture of the organization, your culture, your training, and the culture of the people who work in your teams. So thank you very much, everybody. Pak Hendra.
Oke, ya.
Ini
Alright.
biar baca terus sama Pak Hari ini. Ilmunya luar biasa.
Oh,
Saya harus
thank
tuntut
you.
terus ilmunya.
kita berbicara mengenai servant leadership, dan servant leadership itu tugas utamanya adalah empowering, jadi memberdayakan, pemberdayaan. Dan tujuan akhirnya adalah satu organisasi bisa mencapai sustainable performance,
Yes.
performance yang terus-menerus bisa berkembang. Dan untuk itu dibutuhkan 8 skill, 8 skills. Ya, yang terdiri atas empathy, listening, awareness, persuasion, foresight, stewardship, growth, and community. Dan untuk mengembangkan kepemimpinan tersebut, kita membutuhkan 5 hal. Yang paling pertama adalah pola pikir melayani. Yang kedua, kita harus berubah menjadi pendengar. Yang ketiga, kita harus berupaya untuk selalu memberdayakan. Yang keempat, kita selalu memimpin dengan contoh. Dan yang kelima, kita harus berubah fokus ke orang, bukan ke hasil. Jadi mungkin yang bisa saya katakan, Pak Harry, Mr. Harry, do you have
Yes.
any closing statement?
All I can say is you're a fantastic moderator, and that was the best summary of my talk that I've heard for a long time. Thank you very much, Pak Hendra.
Baik, Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, terima kasih atas kehadiran Bapak dan Ibu sekalian pada malam hari ini. Baik, Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, kita akan ketemu lagi 1 minggu dari sekarang.